Alright, hi chat. Get this out of here. I hop over here and then I tab way over here. And we should have audio and you should be able to hear it. And it might be too loud. That looks like it's too loud for you. Let me turn this. There we go. That's quiet for me. Audio's good. There we go. All right. Anyway, hi chat. I'm gonna be so real. I was gonna play Celeste today, and then I woke up 30 minutes after I was supposed to go live and decided that was a bad idea. So instead, I decided to play a game that I very, very vaguely alluded to during my Archipelago night. We are playing, for the first time, Demon Bluff. This is a relatively small game, but I have watched a lot of it. This is my first time playing it, but I have a lot more knowledge and experience with this game than your average first player would. Just because I have watched probably hours upon hours of this game. A lot of it's in the kind of rapidly emerging anti-social deduction game genre. I have heard a lot of people compare it to Blood on the Clocktower, which I am not familiar with, so take from that what you will. But I have been really excited to play this game pretty much since I heard it existed. And just, I want to say less than a week ago, it exited the public playtest phase and released the official demo. And I figured, you know, what better time than now to play it? So let's get into things. I will kind of try to explain things as I go, hopefully. But I think the game does a good job here. There's one evil among all characters, find it and kill it. This is your deck. These characters can be drawn and appear in the current village. These words will make a little more sense once we actually see the game happening. But these are the 5 characters. There's the Hunter, who will say how far away from him the current evil is, or the closest evil is. The Enlightened, which will say which direction. The Gem Crafter will straight up accuse somebody of being good. The Confessor is kind of wonky and doesn't abide by all the rest of the rules of every other character, but basically they can't lie. And then there's a Minion, who is evil and lies and disguises. And hold up, I need to actually just quickly open that. I need to hit that button, even though it seems to have already happened, just so I can see this. You can click on cards to reveal them, and the characters will say things. And you use it to deduce who is evil. Evil characters, thank you for telling me that tutorial. Evil characters will lie about their information and their role. Yeah, it is kind of a single player mafia / werewolf / Salem, etc. So the Hunter is saying he's 1 card away from the closest evil. That is directly accusing these two. So let's check what 3 is saying. 3 is saying this way. Let's see if, okay, well, immediately this is a 50-50. I could just stab into this, but I don't think I'm going to. See what you have to say. Do you? Thank you. Thank you. You're just good. What do you have to say? You say 3 is good. Game. Game. You have given me a 50-50 on the first match. This is the tutorial. What the hell? What an opening. Okay, so this is an actual... Sometimes this happens where there is an actually unsolvable situation. Yeah, in this mode, you kill suspected evil characters. Click the dagger again to exit. There is also this here, which will... That pop-up should not be on screen yet. But this will, hovering over this, will tell you what order you flipped the cards in, as well as other things. Yeah, there is absolutely nothing that can solve this. It is definitely one of these two, because there's no reason why we would have 2 Hunters at this stage. Okay, so who do I trust more? Also, yes, that joke is incredible, Willian. Okay. So who do I think... Well, this is... Okay. Let's just stab you. I was right. Okay, I won the 50-50. Usually that doesn't happen, but it does occasionally happen where there is just a 50-50 and you have to YOLO. If I stabbed the wrong one, I would have lost 5 health. But I didn't stab the wrong one. That you are allowed to stab one innocent person in this game. And we get some new characters because we're in the sort of meta progression mode. The medium, who will tell you a good character and what role it is, which will make a little bit more, this information will make more sense with some coming roles. And the judge, who has an active ability, you can target that, and he will tell you if somebody is lying. Of course, he could be lying. The judge could be lying. The lover, which we actually did not see last village, is saying one evil adjacent. That is pretty believable. What does this say? That is an extremely suspicious statement. I don't trust you. I'm gonna mark you as suspicious. No, I don't like to mark you as... I like to mark suspicious with that. So lie that can be called... Wow, ice guy. You're 2 cards away? Yeah, I don't know if I want to flip the rest of this. I think I'm just gonna stab 2. Because, like, yeah. Alright, so we've got the Wretch here. The Wretch registers as evil, but will never actually be evil. And the Empress will give you 3 characters, one of which will be evil. Alright, so let's see. Got a Hunter who says 3. That is a very interesting claim. That is a very interesting claim for you to be making, Hunter. But let's see if there's a 4 is a real judge. Characters with an activate ability, yeah. Okay, so this is a lie because if we look up here, there is one outcast, which is outcasts are characters with these yellow borders, and the current hand we've been dealt, let's say, has 5 villagers, 1 outcast, and 1 minion. We haven't actually seen a demon yet, but they're similar to minions, but they have red names. This guy has an orange name. Yeah, so there is a Wretch, and you have to be closer to it than you are saying, so you are just evil. There we go. Now I got the twin minion. We can now have 2 evils. The Jester targets 3 characters and tells you how many evils there are. I know there's a lot of rolls flying at everyone very quickly. They'll become a little easier to understand once we see them. You're saying 1 evil adjacent to me. You're pointing at this one. Judge. Let's see what's in this direction. Okay, 1 is evil. 1, 6, or 7. Yeah, I am very familiar with this game. I also forget, I know there's a way to do this. I don't know what the keybind is. Ah. Okay, draw mode. So you are claiming between these 3. This is something that one person I watch. That is a terrible triangle. Let's try that again. Likes to mark Empress information like that. And I am going to also do that because it just makes it easy to tell. So this Empress is claiming there's 1 evil in here, but the Empress could also just be evil. And now that we have 2 evils, I can't just find the lie and stab it because they could be backing each other up. Confessor who is good. You always love to see a confessor who is good. That is the Wretch. Okay. Okay, one of these lovers is evil. Let's do that. There is an evil among those. Which I think means this has to be true. Yeah, because there's no reason we would have two lovers. That's just the mechanic of the game. You can't have a double claim unless there's a reason why you have a double claim. So one of these lovers is not a lover. This guy... Okay. Oh boy. Okay, I need to actually... I think I need to use the judge to solve this. I think I want to just use the judge to check itself. So I'm going to put the judge on... Wait, no, judge on the confessors. I'm going to use the judge on this. You think 3 is lying. Now that's very interesting because I don't think that's possible. Yep, most skilled characters reveal their true roles. So you are true. You have to be true now. You are also true. You are the wretch who is, if I go into here, cannot be disguised as. The wretch is always good. Oh wait, no evil's adjacent to me next to a wretch. This was like the world's most obvious lie. Yeah, this is just evil. I'll put that there as well. Yeah, no evil's adjacent to me next to a wretch. How did I not spot that? So these two, the bombardier, you lose if you execute, and the knight can't die, which is very interesting. Okay, two evils and bombardier. Hi. I'll mark you as good unless I see another one. 2 cards away from the closest evil. That's... Since you last played, can't be disguised as a wretch is new. Oh, interesting. No evils adjacent. That is kind of... Well, no, it's not conflicting with you. It just means you're accusing this guy. Judge. Okay. This has just become a lot scarier. Now, well, hold up. One of the evils, there is an evil among here. I will go into here. One of those is evil. That is just... Would it be surprised if I said the knight was a guy? It's hard to... I don't know what the knight is. I haven't thought about it. But I found bombs. Yeah, I found bombs all right. So, just like I said last time, where there's no reason to have multiple lovers, there's only one outcast in this hand that we've been dealt. This is 2 outcasts. Now, the problem is if I'm wrong about this 50-50, I lose. So, now, this guy is pretty directly accusing this guy, but it could be these two. No, it can't be these two, because then you're wrong. Well, hold up. Let me do that. You're saying the truth. Okay. So it's either both of these or it's this one, and it's not both of these because then you would have true information and be evil and lying, but be not lying. So... pretty confident in saying this is our real bombardier. But let's keep flipping. 8 is a real bombardier. Well, I don't believe you in the slightest. In fact, I can do this. Oh boy, now we're starting to get minions that actually do things. So the witch will prevent us from flipping the final card. You know, denying information. Not that that would have been an issue in the last village, because I figured it out before I even did that. There's also the scout, who learns how far a specific evil is from the closest evil to that evil, not to the scout. That is a trap I see a lot of new players fall into. 5 is a real scout. Witch is 2 cards away from the closest evil. Okay. This seems entirely plausible. It could just be both of these, but keep flipping. 2 cards away from closest evil. Okay, it can no longer be both of those, because there's only the economy of liars. There's only 2 lies that can be happening at the moment. So I think this is just true. Yeah, in fact, yeah, these 2 have to both be true. Let's flip this bombardier, which means we don't have a wretch. Wretch, which means we don't have a bombardier, and in fact, the wretch is always the real outcast. which means you are true unless this is... You are... Okay, this is because... What if it's not? No, the wretch cannot be disguised as. The wretch is always a real wretch. This is not a real bombardier. And that was the witch, which will now let me flip the final card. Okay, so you... I can't actually confirm that you... Wait. Yes, I can. You are good, and in fact... Witch is 2 cards. So you are directly accusing... It can't... It could hypothetically have been both of these if the wretch was here. Wow. So you are directly accusing that. 4 is a real bombardier. Well, I happen to know as a fact that that's not true. So... New character unlocked. The Ba. Okay. The Ba is a little scary. Because it hides an outcast from this view. It means you don't necessarily know what's happening. So I don't know what kind of outcast we have. Maybe we have a wretch. Maybe we have a bombardier. I don't know. The Ba is also a demon, and there is a... now I will bring up the distinction between a minion and a demon. The minion is... In fact, I should be doing this on the minion. The minion can disguise as a character that is in town. In fact, in other words, minions can double claim. Demons cannot double claim. In fact, it straight up says that exact sentence right there. Cannot double claim a good character who is in play. Minions can do that. And in fact, they're slightly more likely to than not to. Flip 1. Why is it always a bombardier? A judge. I would like some actual information. 6 is good. Okay, I believe you. Jester. Keep flipping. Closest evil is clockwise. Ba is 1 card away from the closest evil. Okay. Confessor who is dizzy. Well. So I guess I need to actually explain the confessor now. If the confessor is evil or corrupted, they will say I am dizzy. If they are not, they will say I am good. Now, if you're wondering what the hell does corrupted mean, the answer is that doesn't exist yet, which means you're just evil. And if you are to be trusted, 7 is a real confessor. 7 is not a real confessor. I hate to tell you. Wait, hold on. What were you disguised as? You were a medium, and there wasn't a medium. Okay. I get medium and gemcrafter confused sometimes. They're both the same color, and they have very similar kinds of information. All right, we get the Slayer, who basically acts as a free stab, if you're right. And the Knitter, who, well, it says how many pairs of evil there are. Oh, and Ascension complete. Cool. We've got, these are the characters who can exist. Okay, there we go. Why is slot 1 always a bombardier? What is this? Closest evil counterclockwise. That is menacing. 3 cards away from the closest evil. Maybe this is just evil. Okay. Slayer. There is only 1 evil. That is a factually true statement. I can't reveal that. Okay, well, this is probably real, unless this is the real bombardier. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So everything is pointing at the Slayer. I think it's just the Slayer. I'm going to stab the Slayer. It was just the Slayer. Yes, the thing with the Slayer is the Slayer could be lying. And with these characters, evil is no longer the only reason for a lie. Because we have the Poisoner. And what the Poisoner does is he will make 1 adjacent villager corrupted. And corrupted will lie, but they're still good. We also have the Bard, who will help us find this corruption. Slayer. Bombardier. Enlightened saying this way. Oh boy. Okay, so you're saying this. It's a kind of terrible triangle, but I'll run with it. Bard saying 3 away. Let's look at you. Second Slayer. Okay, one of you is corrupted. Well, if you're accusing this one of being corrupted, then that's kind of indirectly accusing this one of being evil. Evils are not adjacent to each other. That is entirely plausible. Jester. Okay, so both of these Slayers failed, which means, and they can't both be good, because there's no reason for there to be a double claim. Which means one of them is evil, and the other is corrupted, which is why it failed to kill the one that was evil. Which means this is probably poisoner poisoned, which would mean this is poisoned, which means you are poisoner. Except you're good now. You're good now. And you have, hold up. Yeah, this is good but corrupted. This is good because it's correctly pointing at the corrupted Slayer. This has to be good because the only evil we found is surrounded by 2 goods. Which means you are spouting absolute nonsense. It also have to be evil in order to make this good. With the fortune teller, we'll pick 2 characters and we will learn evil, true, or false. And the oracle, who will give us 2 characters and say one of them is a specific evil. Oh boy, we have a ba, so I don't know what that is. That's great. Fortune teller. Empress. 1, 3, or 4, you are saying. 2 cards away from a corrupted character. What corrupted character? I don't think there's any way that we can have a corrupted character here. Two evils adjacent, that is possible. I don't know how I feel about that. Second fortune teller. You know, I'm actually kind of believing this now. I'm gonna do this. You're gonna say false. I'm gonna do the same thing with you. You're gonna say true. I think it's these two. I think it's these two and this lover is actually telling the truth. That is a wretch. That is a hunter who is pointing at the wretch. Very helpful. Well, we know this is false because there is no corrupted character. Yes, and now we know we have a wretch, which means you are correct. There's a fun fact about the Empress. The Empress is lying. All 3 of the characters in its information are good, which is a very useful thing to know. Now, that also means that I think, yeah, you are just evil now, I think. Yeah. Because it can't be this because it's in the Empress information, and only one is evil in the Empress information, so it's you. There we go. Oh boy, we get more corruption. This game hurts your brain? Good. Yeah, it hasn't even got crazy yet. This is where it starts to get a little ridiculous. We have the Plague Doctor, who at the start of the game will corrupt a completely random villager. But it has an ability where if you pick a corrupted character, it will tell you an evil, which is very useful. We also have the Alchemist, who will cure corruption in 2 cards in either direction of him. And he also cannot be corrupted, except there's an asterisk on that because there's still, I think, 3 bugs with that ability. But anyways, Minion is 2 cards away from closest evil. That is very plausible. Plague Doctor. I guess the thanks, Ba. You kind of failed to hide this. 1 pair of evil. That, okay, that is directly at odds with this information. Jester. No one was corrupted around you. That is possible if you are corrupted. 7 is evil. Yeah, okay. I kind of know 7 is evil because now there's 2 plague doctors. So this is the plague doctor corruption. I'll mark that, I don't know, like that. Nope, like that. That's the plague doctor corruption. You are probably good then. This is evil, but I'm going to do this. You're going to tell me 1 is evil. Well, that is just objectively false, because 2 cannot be corrupted because it's not a villager and there's no way to corrupt an outcast currently. So you're just evil. That means you are actually telling the truth, which is a little surprising to me. 1 is good. That has to be true, because this evil character accused 1 of being... So you're good but corrupted. I'm gonna be real. I don't think it's this. I'm gonna do that and I learn 1. So I think you're good. You have to be good. You have to be good. You are evil. You have to be evil because you're the last card. There we go. They did change the alchemist. That is a relatively recent change with the alchemist. That is true. We've got the Chancellor, who at the start of the game will create an additional outcast and sit next to it. And we have the Doppelganger, who is an outcast but will disguise as a villager currently in play, which means we now have a reason for double claims to exist. This is a particularly evil combination, except I know this is a doppelganger because... Well, actually, I don't. This could be... If I see a plague doctor, then this is not a doppelganger. Bombardier. Judge. Wretch. Plague doctor. Okay, so... One of these is evil. 3 outcasts already. Wait, no, 3 outcasts is good. We should have 3 outcasts, because we've been dealt 2 outcasts, and then the Chancellor creates a new one. So I think actually all of these are good. Equidistant. Hold up. There's your hydrate. So I think actually all of these are good unless we find another one. Evils are not adjacent to each other. I think I believe that. 1 is a real Bombardier. I immediately want to say that, but... Well, hold up. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think all of these outcasts are real, I think. Try this. You're gonna see evil. You're gonna say truth. So maybe I was wrong. Unless you're corrupted? Okay. So unless we don't have a plague. No, but okay, no, okay. This plague doctor, okay. I can get rid of these 2. I can get rid of that. This has to be true, because if it was evil, it will say the opposite of what it's supposed to say, which means in order for this to be evil and say 2 is not corrupted, 2 would have to be corrupted. But if this is evil, then it isn't a plague doctor and it didn't corrupt anyone, and therefore there's no other source of corruption on this board. So this just has to be true. Yeah, the outcast count should be off by 1 because of the Chancellor, so this should be real. Unless... Hold up. Chancellor... Bah. Closest evil is equidistant? Makes no sense. Wait a minute. Closest evil is equidistant. Corrupted. Evils are not adjacent to each other? True. One is a real bombardier? True. And then bombardier? True. Yeah, I think it's, I think it's this. I'm gonna... Yep, that's the Ba. That's the Chancellor. Wait, that's the Chancellor. Okay, I had it backwards. Mark the Wretch is good, which he clearly registers as evil to me. I love that joke. Oh boy, it's the Drunk. So the Drunk disguises as a random not-in-play villager, kind of like a demon. The Drunk is corrupted and lies, and the Drunk cannot be cured by the Alchemist. We also have the Druid, who will help us spot disguising outcasts, such as the Drunk and the Doppelganger. The Drunk's art is really good. All the art in this game is really good. All right. Well then, we have 3 evils. We don't know what the outcast is. Probably a Drunk, considering we just unlocked it. Could be a Doppelganger. Yeah, Drunk is definitely the outcast of all time. So, Jester. 1 pair of evil seems extremely plausible. This is... I can't stab this anymore, because this could be a Drunk. It could be Plague Doctor corrupted. 8 is a real bard. 4 cards away. Okay, I'm starting to think this is the Drunk. And that these are both good. Let's Jester check this. 1 evil. Well, that's not what I wanted to learn. Closest evil, equidistant. 1 is a real Jester. I'm gonna be... No, we can have double this. Oh no, we don't have a medium. Wait, we do have a medium. We have 2 mediums. I kind of believe this one more than I believe this one. Second Jester. Well, let's check what the first Jester checked. Just 3, 4, and 8. You're gonna see 0 evils. I think it's these. I think it's these 2 among. I think it's these 2. This is the Drunk, and then I guess that one to make this true. You're the Witch. You're a minion. So you are presumably the Ba? Knight can't die. Well, if I don't believe that. Oh, wait. You're good. Oh, this is clearly nonsense. And I was right. This was, in fact, the Drunk. Okay. New character, we have the Puka. This one's scary. It corrupts both adjacent villagers. Which means we get a lot of corruption. Oh god, that's a lot. Okay. This is gonna be a tricky puzzle. So let's just think about the economy of lies again. We have 2 evils, which lie. We have the Puka causing 2 corruptions. We have the Poisoner causing a corruption. We have the Plague Doctor causing a corruption. We have 6 corruptions among 9. We have 6 lies among the up to 6 lies among these 9 cards. And the Plague Doctor itself, which... Good lord. So, this is a puzzle where I just have to flip everything. Although I'm slightly inclined to believe this lover, and I don't know why. You're dizzy? No shit. Druid. Well, hold up. We only have 1, so the only thing the Druid could tell me... No, I'm gonna save that in case we see a second Plague Doctor. 1 or 9 is a Poisoner. That is a very interesting... claim. Knight can't die. So if you, fun fact, if you kill a corrupted knight, it does 9 damage. So not a free stab. Hunter 2 cards away. Well, the obvious thing to do here is that. You see no outcasts? This is a lie. This is a lie. This is probably a lie. I don't know if this can mathematically happen. I can't prove it's a lie, though. Okay, let's start with the most solid piece of information on the board. 1 or 9 is a poisoner. This seems extremely plausible. I think I want to Jester check this. You say 1 evil. That actually sounds real. This, oh god. Well, hold up. This is good because we need 1 outcast. There's no disguising outcasts and there's only 1 plague doctor. So this just is real. I think I do this. You're gonna tell me 6 is evil. I'm gonna believe you. 6 is the poisoner. Means this could be real if it poisoned here, which means in no way am I stabbing this. This looks very real. Now, okay, you are corrupted. If I am to trust this Jester, dang it, I want the Oracle. If lies, both characters in my info are good. So both of these are good. They might be corrupted, but they're both good. Two cards away from a corrupted character. I don't believe you. No, this is a lie. But you could also be, in fact, no, you could very easily be the corrupted character. The poisoner could very easily have done this. This could also, no, this isn't the Puka. This could be the Puka though. And if I'm to believe this, well, hold up. How did this get corrupted? Either this is the Puka or the Plague Doctor hit this. This looks true. I think this might be the Puka. Poisoner hit this, Puka hit this, maybe, or maybe Poisoner hit that and then the Plague Doctor hit this, because this is nonsensical. I'm gonna stab the Confessor. Okay, I was not very confident in that. And the Knight was corrupted. So I was correct that the Poisoner hit one side and then the Plague Doctor hit the other side. That is evil of you, Plague Doctor, first of all. Wow. Wow, that was a tricky one. Watch 5 be Puka. 5 could have been Puka. But then why was the Confessor dizzy? Because the Plague Doctor hit it. That could have been the case. I did not successfully rule that out. You have a good point. Oh boy, it's the Baker. I'm going to explain the Architect first. The Architect's easy. The Architect tells you which side has more evil, and the middle counts as both sides. The Bakers are one that are easier to show than try and tell. Oh, Ascension complete. Do we have Baker? We don't. Okay, we didn't roll a Baker in this. We've got Doppelganger, Witch, Puka. 2 evils adjacent. That is a rather ridiculous thing to say, but you could easily be corrupted. 1 pair of evil. That is plausible, but you could easily be corrupted. Jester. No roller Puka is honest. Oh, good lord. Yeah, the Bakers are an entirely different genre of puzzle to the rest of this game. So I will explain the Baker when we see one. Imagine, yeah, one could be That is one thing with the Doppelganger. It's not a villager. Therefore, it cannot be corrupted. Because this corrupts villagers adjacent to it. This is not a villager, so it can't be corrupted. Which causes all sorts of shenanigans. Closest evil equidistant. I kind of believe you, actually. Because if this is true, what I would imagine, there's two possibilities. We either have Puka Witch, or we have Puka Witch for this to be true. I'm going to flip 6 just because of that possibility. You're saying 4 is good. Well, let's flip 4. Okay. So which of these do I believe more? We know that there is an evil here. It could actually be both of them. I'm going to try this. Well, that's not possible. There are only 2 evils in this puzzle. Wait a minute. Hold up. We don't actually. In fact, okay. Doppelganger, corrupted, Puka, witch. In fact, no, I don't want to mark doppelganger. Let's mark doppelganger like that. So that means 4 is good, which is true. Closest evil is equidistant, which is true. 1 pair of evil is corrupted because it's next to the Puka. 3 evils is corrupted because it's next to the Puka. Evils are not adjacent to each other is true because this is the doppelganger. And both of these, yeah, unless 5 is the original lover. But yeah, that is just the Puka. And in order for, okay, I'll hold up. What if this is evil? I think this is indistinguishable. Because what if it's this? What if this is good and this is actually lying? I don't think I have any way of telling at this stage. I think this is another 50-50. I'm going to trust that it's this. Okay. I look, never punished. I am unreasonably lucky. I am never punished. What were you even saying? You were a bard saying 3 away because you were actually 2 away. Wait a minute. Oh, right. The closest corrupted. Right. That's how bard works. I knew that. Oh boy. Shaman is an interesting evil. When Jester is corrupted, the number is wrong and you don't know what kind of wrong, you just know it is not that specific number when the Jester is lying. The Shaman creates a double claim that is just completely real. And the Bishop will tell you 1 villager, 1 outcast, and 1 evil. Oh god, we don't know what the outcast is. Okay. 8 is a real baker. You know what? Let's do the baker puzzle. I was a baker. Hold, what? Okay. How are you saying that? Okay, so if usually the first baker will say I am the original baker. If they're lying, they will pick a random roll. But for a baker to have claimed to be a baker, there's 2 ways that can happen that I know of. One is you've already flipped the original baker and it tried to pass its bakership to the other baker because you have a shaman or a doppelganger or something. This could be, hold up, this could be a doppelganger. But that would make you, okay. Doppelganger lying. No, because if a corrupted baker won't claim to be a baker, because then it's telling the truth. But there isn't an original baker yet, so I think... No, because a doppelganger would say I'm the original baker. A random villager roll. Maybe you're just lying. Maybe it is just these 2. I'm gonna flip more. Judge. Well, hold up. Lying. I think it's just these two stonks are going way up. One corruption around you. That's concerning. Jester. Okay. What the hell is happening here? Is it just these two? But then what are you? Corrupted. Oh, good lord. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking it's both bakers. But then these alchemists. So what are the alchemists saying? The alchemists are saying this was corrupted. Or this was corrupted. This... Well, here's the thing. We have a shaman. So we have a real double claim. Which is the alchemists. Because both of the bakers are fake. Is the idea. Let's try this. This should say 2. This says 1. And you can't be corrupted unless it's... Oh, unless this alchemist is evil, specifically. Alchemists are pointing to 1 as drunk. That is true. This could be the drunk. Yeah. The original baker can make a shaman baker say that it was a baker because it was a baker and then the other baker turned it into a baker. I think we don't actually have a... But then, hold up. But then why are... Yeah, okay. You're drunk. You're lying, you're lying. You two both tried to cure this, but can't because it's the drunk. Shaman. So you're true. One is lying, is true, because it's the drunk. Both of you are real, because you're the shaman pair. You said 1. What did I pick with you? 2, 5, 8. New plan. Evil. Drunk. Because I think this is actually the drunk. And not evil. Because this jester can't be the drunk. Because we've got 3 lies, and we know it has to be these 3. I think the alchemists are pointing at 5 as the drunk. 2 is just telling the truth, and this is evil. I think this is Ba. I knew it. Okay. Wow. That makes sense. Wow. That was a tricky one. 2 fake bakers both claiming to have been bakers. That was just confusing because I haven't seen a baker. That was just a new situation. I didn't know that a lying baker could just claim baker. I thought a baker that said baker was like a weird case that needed specific situations. But no, that can just happen, apparently. All right, we've got the puppeteer who turns a random adjacent villager into a puppet. The puppet is evil but does not lie, but it is always adjacent to the puppeteer. Yeah, puppet baker saying I was a baker was one of the 2 was the other situation where a baker would say I was a baker and be correct. We also have the Rambler, who is relatively new. The Rambler will tell adjacent, same information polarity characters to shut up, is I think a better way of wording this. We have a puppeteer, shaman, Rambler. Okay. Between 4, 6, and 7, there's okay. I think I want to flip 5. You're telling number 6 to shut up. So these 2 are on the same team. 2 is 7. 7 is a Slayer. That's unhelpful. Let's see what 4 is. a Slayer. These could both be real. Okay, hold up. Yeah, that's true. Puppets don't have their ability. But they do have they do have active abilities. Yeah, okay, I did know that. So, you have to be true. You could be the puppet, but your information has to be true. Because you're pointing at something that is claiming to be an outcast. And if the bishop is lying, all characters in its information are villagers. This is never a villager, so this is always, which means there is a minion among one of these slayers is not real. So I could just use the slayers to kill each other, but I will check other things. Right side is more evil, says the architect. 2 evils adjacent. That could be puppeteer puppet. Let's flip this. Right side more evil. No, okay, I think this is the shaman pair now. Okay, let's just... There we go. That is a very interesting interaction. So the Slayer still works, but it's still telling 6 to shut up. So we now know all of these are good. Well, all of these are truthful. This actually could have been the puppet. Because adjacent truthful characters tell the Rambler to shut up instead of saying their info. If they're lying, then adjacent liars. So anyone of the same information polarity. Now, because both of these are telling this guy to shut up, and we know this is evil, there's just not enough liars for this to all be lying. So this is all true. Which means this has to be true, I think. Puppeteer puppet? I like the idea of puppeteer puppet. Could also be puppeteer puppet. But this information is never true. And it's also never corrupted, so I just stab it. It is puppeteer. Now we have a slight problem. Either of these could be the puppet. Oh wait, shaman. Right. And this wasn't the shaman pair, so this is the shaman pair. So this is a puppet. Okay. That was the puppet. It was telling the truth, because that's what puppets do. That was a... Yeah, I also forgot the Slayer duo was false. The Dreamer. Dreamer is a character who's been changed a couple times over this game's history. But the Dreamer will pick 2 characters and learn one character that is between them and one role that is not between them. And if it's lying, then it just says complete nonsense. Oh boy, okay, this is going to be one hell of a puzzle. Fortune Teller. Shaman is 3 cards away. That is entirely possible. Dreamer. Bombardier. We have 2 outcasts, so we should have a drunk. This is probably shaman pair. 3 away from a corrupted character. Jester. 3rd fortune teller. Third fortune teller. Puppet slayers can stab themselves. That is really funny. Okay, well, this should say 1. That says 2. That is false. You just are good. Yeah, oops, all fortune tellers. Okay, so how do I want to use these fortune tellers is the question. Well, let's assume you're true. Because current theory... Well, hold up. You can't be the... I think... Hold up. I think this is just evil. One of these is evil. Because either... This is evil. This is either the drunk or it's evil. Or it's poisoner corrupted by a poisoner in seat 8. Okay, I think I want to use the fortune tellers to check the other fortune tellers. You're going to say evil true. You should say evil true. And you're probably going to say evil true. Yes. Maybe that wasn't the best way to do that. Okay, I think I'm gonna dreamer. This should say fortune teller or something nonsense. Fortune teller or shaman. The fortune teller is there and shaman is not there. So I think you're telling the truth. Both of these are just fortune tellers and this is evil. Yes, you're poisoning that because this told the truth. The true, poisoned nonsense. Wait, but then this is also nonsense. Yeah, Dreamer's telling the truth. So, okay. Poisoner corrupted, drunk, evil. Evil. I see. Was there a way I should have known that? I think the way I was supposed to have known that was to use the fortune tellers more productively. Oops. Sorry, drunk. That's gonna happen with the drunk, like, a lot. No idea what that means. Yeah, first miss. Alright, we've got the witness. We'll learn a character that was affected by an evil, and the lycanthrope, who is brand new, released within the past week, and I have very little experience with. At night, if I am unrevealed, I will become an evil werewolf and will lie. 2-minute ad prison right as I'm explaining new role. That's great. You love that. Okay. Means we have a night cycle for the first time. So every 4 flips, night will happen. Yeah, lycanthrope is the absolute newest role in the entire game. It was added, I want to say, on the 27th, and it is currently the 1st. So, very new role. Oh, God. Okay, we have a lycanthrope and a rambler. And a puka. Oh, good lord. This implies that there's one pair of evil. Closest evil is counterclockwise. That's ominous. Rambler. Okay, so the reason I was flipping every other card here is I wanted to find a shut up before I found the Rambler. Unfortunately, I found the actual Rambler. Closest evil is counterclockwise. I think I'm going to flip 7. So if we have not revealed the lycanthrope, it will have just transformed. That is true. Active abilities will also refresh at night. I did not mention that. Not all, but most. Like the Slayer doesn't refresh. I think the Plague Doctor doesn't refresh. I know he's not a villager, but... Okay, so I want to use you to try and find... Well, hold up. Let's do this. There is lycanthrope. Okay. Yeah, that is what can happen with the lycanthrope, is it can cause information to become false. But it's very possible that one of these just was the lycanthrope. That or you're lying. You could be lying. I'm going to assume that I actually did flip the lycanthrope until something stops adding up. 3, 4, or 8. I think I want to flip into that. You're telling 5 to shut up. You're saying 2 is good. Well, hold up. I can actually check if I have a werewolf. Flip this. I did not take damage. Okay. I can't show you the werewolf card, but the way that the werewolf works is it will deal 1 damage to you at night. What's the Rambler's ability? Adjacent characters that are telling the same quality of information as the Rambler will tell the Rambler to shut up. So this is a very interesting claim to be making. First of all, you're adjacent to a Rambler, which means you're accusing the Rambler of being evil. Second of all, you're accusing this of being corrupted by a puka. So, okay. In order to make this witness be real, this is the minion. This is the puka. This was corrupted by the puka. So let's see if this looks corrupted. 1 card away from a corrupted character? Because you're actually 2 cards away from a corrupted character because you are a corrupted character. But then this isn't true. And there's no reason for this to not be true. So I think this might just be lying. And then these are both... Wait, no, this has to be a real Rambler. And I don't know which of these is the lycanthrope, but one of these is the lycanthrope, which means the outcast has been spotted. Is a different demon? You're thinking of Lilith, who does 2 damage at night. Spoiler alert, we haven't seen Lilith yet, but I think this is just evil. Yeah, the Rambler has to be real, so you are just lying. What were you disguised as? You were a witness. Okay, so these 2 are both truthful, and these are both truthful and good. This could be lying. I didn't even... Well, no. This has to be true, actually. Yeah, this is true, because we didn't take damage at night from a werewolf, which means we flipped the lycanthrope before it transformed. So this is true information. What are you saying? 3, 4, or 8? Well, we know it's not 4. Oh. Wait, closest evil is counterclockwise then. Hold up. Okay. How? The closest evil is counterclockwise, which means one of these 2 is evil. Which means, okay, it's this. It's this and it corrupted both of these. Oh yeah, this is obviously nonsense. How did I not see that? Phew. Oh, the druid was the lycanthrope and it spotted itself. That is kind of funny. Okay, that was another miss. This game gets hard. Poet, learn random info. I love the poet. Oh, good lord. That is quite the lineup of evils, and we don't know what this is. We know it's not a lycanthrope. Most unhinged round you've ever seen? You know what? Sure. 1 or 8 is a witch. I am inclined to believe that one of these is a witch, based on the fact that they are both druids. Dreamer. Poisoner is 3 away from closest evil. Between 5, 6, and 9. Well, hold up. You're pointing at yourself. What does a bishop pointing at itself mean? I mean, I know this is a poet, not a bishop, but it's saying bishop information. Keep flipping. No evils adjacent? I kind of believe that. Judge. Oh, right. We have a witch. Hold up. Let's see if this spot's a doppelganger. Neither of you saw an outcast. That's concerning. I think I want to dreamer check the druids. Ba or witch? I think I believe you, actually. Because these two are now saying the same thing. So I think one of these actually is. Let me truth check you. You're saying the truth. I kind of believe this entire situation. I think I believe you. I still don't know what the outcast is, though. I think I believe you. I don't think I believe this. Okay. So, one of these, I think I stabbed this, because I think this is evil. That was the poisoner. Oh. Okay, that is actually huge information. First of all, poisoner is never 3 cards away from closest evil. But also, one of these druids is evil and the other is corrupted. Wait, hold up. Okay, I figured out what this poet's saying, finally. This poet is saying... This poet is a doppelganger in its own information. This is the villager. This is the doppelganger. This is the minion. This is the original poet. This is Ba, which confirms my theory that we have a doppelganger, which is specifically that. And now we have another 50-50. Well, hold up. No, poisoners never, because one of these is evil. Never punished. Never punished. Okay, let's see what Epic T's village was. Evil's a Lilith puppeteer and poisoner. Bonus puppet on top. Outcast was a drunk. 9-card village. You flip 1, they're a hunter that's say 4 cards away, which is not physically possible, but you want to gather more information before you kill anyone. Corruption about. Flip 2, they're a hunter. They say I am 4 cards away from the closest evil. You flip 9, they're a hunter that say 4 cards away. What the hell? Oh my god, that is... You kill one of the hunters at random. They can't all be good, right? The one you stabbed was Lilith. The rest of the village, and you're safe from Lilith. They're in clockwise order. An alchemist who accomplished nothing. A judge. Fortune teller. A second fortune teller. An original baker. A baker that was a fortune... Oh, good lord. Feel fed up with the village and you just stab one of the fortune tellers. They're also evil. Oh, the demon said closest evil. Oh, right. The demon said... Oh, yeah, that wasn't. Okay. Right. Thanks for pointing that out, Willian. Sometimes I forget to look at for information from a face-down card I stab. I say sometimes as if I play this game often, but this is literally my first time playing the game. What am I saying? All right. There's Lilith. This single-player town of Salem? Kind of. There was no corruption despite Poisoner having available options since there was a puppeteer that made corruption get canceled from the puppet. That... Oh boy. Yeah, no social, only deduction. This is Lilith. At night, they will kill a random unrevealed character and deal 2 damage. All right, and I do believe that is every... I believe that is every card discovered now. Okay, we've got Lilith, Minion, Chancellor, Rambler, and Bombardier. Minion is 1 away from the closest evil. You always hit the Rambler. Minion... Okay. Well, I'm gonna say something obvious. One of these is lying. It's kind of the fortune teller, puppeteer, the judge. Oh my god. Okay. I think I just flipped. Let's flip 6. Okay, well, you're good. I don't know what you are, but you were good. Bombardier. Presumably both good. I'm good. Okay. Flip this because it'll still give me... Oh, wait, I can flip everything. Nothing's dying. You're telling 3 to shut up. You are very interestingly not telling 3 to shut up. And you're also vouching for somebody I don't trust. You are lying. Because you're adjacent to a Rambler that has to be real. You're real. Lying at the same time. Good lord. Okay, well, I don't trust this for a second. That was Lilith. Now, you're saying 5 is a real scout. 5 is not a real scout, so you are the minion, who is 1 card away from the closest evil. Four is saying truth, you say. Well, that is a very interesting thing for you to say about Lilith in a village with no corruption. Okay, so that was the Chancellor sitting next to the real Bombardier that it created we got dealt 1 outcast, which was the Rambler, and the Chancellor created this one. Okay. And then you're just... Who knows what was this? Oh my god, that was a baker. We still haven't had a baker puzzle. All the names for this genre are really generic names and also names for other games. Session completed. We still have not had the Fated Baker puzzle. Yep. Okay, and that is every character. Yeah, I want a baker puzzle. Hold up, do we have the baker? No. Hold on, let me... Back to menu real quick. Can I go into endless mode? I can. There is deck building mode, but there's about 17 bugs associated with this, so I'm not going to. I think I want to go into endless mode because it's going to get me more challenging puzzles. I'm going to save advanced mode for now because that's new and that's a hydrate. Still no baker. Okay, let me get that hydrate real quick. Okay. Let's see here. We've got a Ba, Chancellor, and Poisoner. Possibility of Bombardier, Plague Doctor, and Unknown. Alchemist says there was a corruption around it. That's very possible. Oh. This is a lycanthrope and it's in the village. Because I think I want to flip over here to try and find the lycanthrope. Druid. There's lycanthrope. Let's flip that. Slayer. So presumably we have flipped the lycanthrope. You're dizzy. Fortune teller. Interesting. We are going to get a second nighttime, so I'll be able to verify this information. Bombardier. Presumably real. Plague Doctor. Okay, one of you is no longer real, because we do have a lycanthrope, because we have a nighttime counter. do this. There is Plague Doctor, you are claiming, which is putting some sus on this Bombardier. And okay, we didn't take damage. So you're telling the truth. We did actually flip the Lycanthrope. Which means this Plague Doctor is real and this Bombardier is not real. 4 or 7 is a poisoner. No, not yet. You're 1 card away from... Okay, that's a ridiculous thing to be saying. I forgot to use the fortune teller, didn't I? Do this. You're gonna say evil true. I'm gonna say then that 7 is probably the poisoner. 7 is corrupted. Which is why you couldn't kill this, which is the... Oh. I did not consider that this alchemist was not an alchemist. Okay, wow. Again, the druid was the lycanthrope that spotted itself. Is that evil true? I should have noticed that. I should have noticed this had to be evil. God damn it. Okay, let's try this again. Still have not had a Baker puzzle. I would love to... Yeah, instantly gets folded in Endless, I know. Lover says 2. That is a pretty ridiculous thing to be saying, but let's flip over here in case you're true. This is objectively false. Because we have a Puka and a Plague Doctor. Between 4, 5... Okay, this is a powerful thing to be saying, but it also means you might just be evil. Or corrupted, rather. Jester. I think this is corrupted, or evil. Because we don't have a disguising outcast, and this is claiming there's an outcast here. And there kind of just isn't, so... That means all of these are villagers. Which means this is not true. This has some very real Puka vibes. 1 is a real lover. Never mind. You're real. Unless... Okay, evil, corrupted. Then why are you corrupted? Because of the Plague Doctor. 2 is evil. Well, I was thinking that, so I think you are... Well, you have to be real, unless this is a Plague Doctor. Yeah, you have to be real. You are evil. You are evil. There we go. Because, yeah, a lying bishop will only mention villagers. And it was claiming there was an outcast, and there was no outcast, so they were all villagers. That was a tricky one. I had to actually think. Me when I have to think in a puzzle game? I know, shocking. Is there a setting to, like, not... Right, there's no settings. I forgot. I would like it if there was a setting where it didn't pop that up every time, because I have this, and this has everything I need to know. Okay, so we've got a Puka, a Twin Minion, and either a Plague Doctor or a Rambler. You're telling 8 to shut up. Understandable. Judge. Hunter 2 is directly accusing 5, who's a Slayer. Knight can't die. Well, we have corruption, so I can't just stab you. Plague Doctor. No one was corrupted around you. Is that possible? Wait a minute. This is a Rambler. Here's a... No, this can't be the Puka. Okay. This is actually... Let's just think. How can this be true? Well, hold up. Okay, well, you're true. You have to be true. You're telling a lying rambler to shut up, so you are lying. And I think you're just evil. This should tell me it tells me one is evil, which I believe, because you're corrupted by the puka. Okay. It says your actions impact nothing. Oh my God, I love the shit the Rambler says. It is so funny. God, is there a way to stop that from happening every time? People who actually know this game. Oh, good lord, we have a Puka, Chancellor, Plague Doctor, and Drunk. Okay, this is gonna be hard. You know, that doesn't surprise me. That is not possible. No, that is possible. No, it isn't. How do I make this possible? If this is exactly the Plague Doctor, it's possible. It's possible. Okay. So let's just go over how this is the world's most suspicious alchemist with how much corruption there is. But it is possible. I think. Puka has to be specifically number 6. The Drunk has to be either 5 or 7, and the Plague Doctor has to have hit the other one. Can the Plague Doctor even do that? I don't even know if the Plague Doctor can corrupt something that's already otherwise corrupted. But this doesn't have to be evil. It's just probably evil. You're saying 1 is good? I kind of believe you, actually. Wait, no, I don't. Wait, no, I don't believe that at all. Closest evil equidistant. Oh, good lord. This could be Chancellor sat next to a Drunk, which would be really funny. This alchemist is now extremely suspicious. Fortune teller. 1 is evil, 1, 5, or 8. That's... I think it might just be 1. 1 is... Okay. Let's try this. 1 is not corrupted? Well, you have to be real. So... You know, that's a new way... Okay, hold up. That's a new way for this to be true. I did not consider that. Puka sandwiched between an outcast who can't be corrupted and an alchemist who can't be corrupted. So I think this guy's actually just telling the truth. He was the world's most suspicious alchemist. Okay, so I think Plague Doctor hit you. Or no, Drunk is you. Wait, no, that doesn't work. Wait. How are you lying? How are both of you lying? Okay, if closest evil is equidistant implies evil Drunk. But it also implies that you're lying if this is the Drunk. What do you say? 1, 5, or 8? You're true. This has to be correct. So, the alchemist cannot be corrupted. What happens if you have a drunk alchemist? That's a good question. And I don't know the answer to that, so I'm going to ignore that possibility for now. So here's what I know. This is a lie, this is a lie. But in order for this to be a lie, it's either evil, which means it's sat next to the drunk. Oh, hold up. Yeah, where's the drunk? This... I kind of like the idea that... It's that one? I think I think this is evil. This is the drunk. But why is this saying no one was corrupted? This could be corrupted. It's good, but it could be corrupted. So I don't know where the Plague Doctor corruption landed, but the Plague Doctor... Oh, hold up. We have a Plague Doctor corruption and a drunk. I think this is a drunk alchemist that can be corrupted. And it's this. And this is the Plague Doctor. I think. No, this is the drunk. Okay, why are you lying then? Oh, because you're the Chancellor. How are you corrupted? You cannot be corrupted. Excuse me, game developer. Okay, well now it has to be this one. And you're also corrupted. How are you corrupted? You specifically can't be corrupted. Okay, that one wasn't my fault. So, I do know of a way that there can be I do know of a way to get a corrupted alchemist. And the way you have a corrupted alchemist that I know of is it was something else, and then it got corrupted, and then a shaman turned it into an alchemist. But that did not happen here. So why the hell are you corrupted? That should not be possible. Okay, so this is a puka corruption that shouldn't have happened. This is the drunk. This is lying because the Plague Doctor hit it. Okay. I figured out what the Plague Doctor hit. The game is corrupted. That's what happened here. Okay. How did this alchemist... What scenario caused this alchemist to end up corrupted? I could not tell you. Plague Doctor. Oh, good lord. This is another we have 7,000 corruptions village. Fortune teller. Evils are not adjacent to each other. I want to believe that. Because like, it's statistically likely to be true, but it's also statistically likely to be corrupted, and I don't like that. 5 was affected by an evil. You are specifically claiming that this is evil, and this is corrupted. I'm not stabbing that, because if you're telling the truth, this is corrupted and this is evil. Okay, well, this is just objectively false. 7 is evil. I believe you. That's the puka. But 5 was affected by an evil. Means that this is the poisoner. Yeah, the can't be corrupted text was corrupted. You get it, Willian. But the poet was actually corrupted. I didn't even notice that. Okay, the Plague Doctor hit this. That's what happened. That was a case of the witness just instantly solving the puzzle. Hold up, do we have a baker? Still no baker. I really want to get a baker puzzle in this stream. Oh god, okay. Second puppeteer puzzle of the stream. Good lord, I know how to speak. Slayer. Fortune teller. You can't die. Okay. 6 or 9 is a puppet. Let's flip into that. A puppeteer. I don't know how to read. You're 2 from the closest evil. Would... I don't know. Left side more evil. And another Empress. Okay, so immediate sus on both of these. In fact, both of you are claiming 6 and 7. I think, statistically, one of these has to be evil. Which means one of them has to be lying. Which means these two are both good. Means you are directly accusing the knight. Now, it could be that one of these is actually telling the truth, and that either 1 or 2 is evil. This is still outstanding information. Must head out now. Have a good rest of your stream. All right. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Okay, well, this is the most confident piece of information on the board, except... Oh, hold on, no, you are always good, because you have to be the outcast. Couldn't kill number 9. I think then that this is either corrupted or evil. Let's check here. Not corrupted? I think you're evil then. No. Corrupted. This is a scary stab, but puppeteer. Corrupted, so puppet. Puppet. Okay, puppeteer. Wait, so that means... Oh, wait, that you're just evil then. Hookah. Why is it not over? Because we still have a minion to find. Well, left side more evil strongly implies that it's 5. Wait, but you're saying true, but you can't be saying true. Okay, you're evil. So you're clearing this. But... Oh, this could be corrupted. I'm gonna stab the knight. Phew. That was a little scary, because that knight could have been corrupted. But yeah, Puka Corruption landed here. Plague Doctor landed here. And only one innocent oracle had to die for that. Okay. Ba, Chancellor, Drunk, and who knows. Oh, and Lycanthrope. 7 is good. Hold up. Between 2, 4... Okay, I'm going to flip 7. I think it has a good shot at being Lycanthrope. There's not enough cards for second night to happen. So... I'm not going to be able to Lycanthrope check like that. Okay, this is going to be a scary puzzle. So, this is good in telling the truth. You're 1 card away from a corrupted character, which is directly accusing this jester of being corrupted. In fact, this is directly accusing this jester of being the drunk. This is just true. Because, yeah, I flipped Confessor Fat. I think I flipped the Lycanthrope again. Still have yet to see a werewolf in that case. You're saying 6 is good. What are you saying? Between 2, 4, and 7. Hold on, let me look for Doppelganger. This could be Doppelganger. This could be... We don't have a Doppelganger. We have a Lycanthrope. Wait, we don't have a Doppelganger. We have a Lycanthrope. So what the hell are you saying? You are not a gem crafter, I don't think. You're saying 6 is good, which immediately puts sus on this, and I think all of these are villagers, which checks out. Means you are, which means this is the drunk. Wait, Chancellor's 2 cards away. Why would Chancellor be 2 cards away? Because this is the drunk. And we don't actually have a poet. I'm going to see if I get a Jester 2 here. I get a Jester 1. Well, these 2 have to be true. And there's no reason for a second gem crafter to exist. So this has to be evil, I think. That's the drunk? Well, hold up. The drunk disguises as a character not in play, which means this is not in play. That was the Lycanthrope. But... What? Oh, okay. Right. You disguise. as a not in play. Okay. Brain fart on my end, sorry. Lycanthrope's still new. Well, we found our outcasts. Means I think 6... Oh, 6 is evil. Chancellor, sitting next to the drunk. Okay. Well, you're not sitting next to the drunk, so you're evil. Okay. That got spicy for a minute. Because I forgot the lycanthrope disguises. I think that's the first time I've ever seen drunk and lycanthrope. Oh my god, we have a baker, finally. What outcast do we have? Nobody knows. This guy's saying that we have a bombardier. 3 or 6 is a shaman. I'm gonna flip away from those because I want to find a baker. I was a fortune teller. That is not true. That is a fortune teller. That is also a fortune teller. So this is the shaman pair. This is evil or corrupted. Let me do this. There is bombardier. Okay, so I think these are real. I think this is just a stab. That's the ba. We do in fact have a bombardier. You're saying 3 or 6 is the shaman. 1 pair of evil. Well, that is very possible. That is not possible, however. We still have not seen a real baker. God damn it. Baker, please be real this time. Oh, but we have like a million corruptions, so... 6 is a real slayer. Okay. That seems entirely true. Plague Doctor. That seems entirely true. That is a very suspicious thing for you to be saying, but it's very possible. You are accusing that of being corrupted. 1 is evil. 1, 3, or 6. That is a terrifying thing for you to be saying. Second alchemist. No one... This is... somehow this alchemist is even more suspicious than the other one. Okay, well, let's try to make this true for a second. How many corruptions do we have? We have a Puka and a Plague Doctor. 3. The other alchemist can't be the Puka, no. So it would have to be... Poet in seat 1 has to be the Puka. And the Plague Doctor corruption hit 4. That's how we make this alchemist true. And then the other one's just a minion. Okay, so that is possible. Fortune teller. That is not possible. Wretch. That is always good. Okay, we have 2 outcasts and they're both real. Okay. Okay, you couldn't kill number 1. I don't know why I thought number 1 was suspicious, because I was trying to make this true. Well, there has to be an evil among these alchemists. And you're claiming this is an extremely suspicious thing to say. In fact, oh no, because you could be corrupted. Yeah, fair enough. If you're 2 cards away from a corrupted character, you could be the corrupted character, but then why are you saying this? Do that. You're gonna say evil false. I kind of believe that, actually. Okay. Here's an idea. Neither of these alchemists are alchemists. Because that would make you... There was 2 corruption around me. This is a pretty ridiculous thing to be saying. In fact, is this even true anymore? I think these two are good and they're backing each other up. This might be corrupted. I have no way of knowing anymore. It could be... Yeah, how... Let me actually think about this. How does this happen? How does this become true? Plague Doctor hit 1, and then between 5 and 4, 1 is the Puka, and the other corrupted it. I think this is just not true. I think that's the evil in the Empress information, and I'm gonna stab it. No. I think the Empress is the evil in the Empress information, and I'm going to stab it. Okay, so you actually are corrupted. You are all... Wait. How are you saying this? Because this is evil and this can't be evil though. How are you saying this? Because this is corrupted and this is evil. But even if you're lying, this can't... Because this isn't a Slayer? Okay. For this lie, so here, no matter what, this card is lying. Wait, no. Never mind, the Alchemist cured it. This is true. So this is corrupt. Okay, this is corrupted. The Alchemist actually cured this. This is now not true. Means the Plague, I think the Plague Doctor did hit this. And the Puka hit this, and then this guy, yeah, this guy has to have been telling the truth, because he's dead. Right. Okay. This guy, however, this is corrupted. Or it's... Oh, wait a minute. Or it's evil. And there's no... Wait, no, because you're saying it's a real Slayer. So it's 7. Phew! That was another really tricky puzzle. And we still haven't seen a Baker. Okay. We have a Lilith puzzle. I haven't had a Lilith puzzle yet, I don't think. Well, no, I had one Lilith puzzle. Between 1, 2, and 5, there's Outcast, Villager, and Minion. I think I do want to see that. But I want to find a Rambler first. 3 is a Real Dreamer. This is a Knight. That is good information. This is a Knight. This is a Knight and it is good. Because I can't kill it. Wait a minute. That's not true. Keep flipping. You are dizzy. Get a better line. There's no reason for this double claim to happen. That is a terrifying Rambler. Oh, right, I forgot about Lilith. Well, this is a Knight. And we know this is true and not corrupted and real. And all of that. This, however... I don't think this is true. This is not... Okay. One of these ain't true. And I think it's this one. Because these outcasts are both real. So this is lying. But it doesn't have to be evil. I think this is poison or poisoned in some capacity. I think this is true. Here's a absolutely wild idea. Both of these are lying. Because this is the entire evil team. No, because then why are you dizzy? In fact, that's a good question. How are you dizzy? You are just evil. Yeah, they lie like a... Yeah, one's lying like a bishop. Oh, yeah, that too. Good point. So I think all of these are just... I think all of these have to be villagers, which means... I think it has... This also has to be, because this Rambler has to be real and you're talking. Oh, no, right. I forgot, because this... We don't know which order these two are in. Do have outstanding Dreamer information, and I'm inclined to believe it. I think I'm just trusting this. Wait, but if I'm trusting this... Oh no, these are all villagers, because we know that's lying. This could be... Well, no, this can't be corrupted, actually, because there's no way for it to be corrupted. There's only one corruption, and it's up here. Wait. No, yeah, one is a bishop lying about themselves. So you're good. Corrupted, but good, which means it is this. You're the poisoner. This is the poisoned. This... It can't be this. Wait. I have run out of things that can be evil. We only have one outcast. There is only one outcast. This bombardier is not a bombardier. Do this. You're gonna say bombardier or knight. That's because knight is here. Bombardier is not here. Wow. We didn't execute any innocence, that puzzle. Okay, well, nobody knows what kind of outcast we have. This guy seems to think it's a bombardier. No one was corrupted around you. I believe you, actually. 4 or 5 is a poisoner. Could be true. Slayer. Fortune teller. Fortune teller. Probably should have used this ability instead of just stabbing. I can still use it, okay. But I just have to know that it's inverted. 1 away from a corrupted character. I think you are a corrupted character, is what's happened here. Dreamer. 6 was affected by an evil. That is true. Bombardier has to be real. Alchemist has to be telling the truth. We have a minion and a ba, and it has to be these two. I don't know what to make of that, but this is not a fortune teller. But that implies that this... Wait. Okay. I think I know what's happened here. Ooh, new skin unlocked. Okay. I figured out what happened. This is an outstanding bug with the Dreamer that I thought had been fixed, but I guess it hasn't. So it looked at itself and said... Fortune teller, because fortune teller, or... Oh, I know, wait. One that's among them and one that's not, and neither of these roles are among them. Never mind, this Dreamer is working perfectly correctly. That is... Dreamer is a very interesting role to try to get information out of sometimes. I like it. We still have not had a Baker puzzle, unfortunately. Hunter who says 2. Entirely believable. Dizzy Confessor. But we have a lot of potential corruption. Plague Doctor. Good Confessor. Which means this... No, this could be real still. 2, 3, or 7? I really do not believe this Confessor in the slightest. See what 7 looks like. Chancellor is 2 away from the closest evil. That seems very plausible. Druid. Dizzy Confessor. There is Doppelganger. That... I think... That doesn't have to be true, but it doesn't have to be true. I want it to be true. Plague Doctor. Hold up. This... Okay. This is not a Plague Doctor. That's a bit... When you have 2 Plague Doctors, you can do this. And this one says not corrupted, which is true because it can't be. This one is lying. So... Now, you also said 7 is evil, which means 7 is not evil. You appear to be telling the truth. But this could very easily be... I think that has to be the Doppelganger. I think 2 is just evil. 2 is corrupted. Which means... Oh. Bayapuka in seat 1. No! Bayapuka in seat 10 and the Plague Doctor hit this. That is evil. And this was just the Chancellor. I probably should have stabbed this one, actually, because I forgot we had a Chancellor and it had to be sat next to something, but... I was correct. This was actually the Doppelganger. Yeah, don't stab... There was no bomb in this village. Okay. Nominally, it is the end of the stream, but I'm having a good time, so let's keep going. Wretch. Always good. Slayer. Oh, we have Lilith. Left side more evil? Well, let's flip the right side, then. 9 was affected by an evil. This is good. That is very much accusing this of being a poisoner. That you could not kill. 2 is good. Because this is the poisoner that corrupted this, and this is the shaman? Or Lilith? Fortune teller? Architect. Both architects are saying different things. But, and we can't ever confirm the shaman pair, because... Well, let's just... Oh, wait. Do the druid check itself. No outcasts, that is true. Because I would druid check with the outcast, but the outcast's going to register as a minion, and therefore it won't register as an outcast because it's a wretch. So this is just true. Which means I don't think this is true anymore. Because what evil was 9 affected by, I ask you, witness? And the answer is it wasn't. Which means I think this is all just good. Now, it's very hard for the left side to be more evil. In fact... it is both of these and one of the architects. And then this is part of the shaman pair. That's corrupted. How is that corrupt? Okay. Because one of you is poisoner. Something has gone very wrong. You're gonna say evil true. Because I think you have... One of these is a poisoner. I'm inclined to believe it's this one. That was Lilith. Okay, but that means that there's no evil here, which backs this up. Means I think the right side is more evil, because there's a wretch over there. Wait. How do I get the right side being more evil, then? Well, hold up. How do I get this corrupted? This is a poisoner. Okay, let's take stock of the situation. This has to be true now. Now, that's concerning. So whatever the shaman pair is, this is part of it. This is just objectively true, so it's not evil. There's no corruption outstanding. Got one evil left to find. Everything looks good, though. I do not see where there is an evil in this puzzle. Because everything has told the truth, as far as I can tell. And if we know the left side being more evil is a lot... Wait, these can both be lies. Hold up. Okay, it's this. I was thinking these can't both be lies, but they can both be lies if both sides are equally evil, which was the truth here. That one had me stumped for a minute. What were you? This was, okay, so this was the shaman pair, was 4 and 7. Wretch is evil, kill the wretch. Oh my god, I love that joke. Let's do another one. Still really, really, really want there to be a baker puzzle where there's a real baker. One pair of evil, that seems believable. 7 was affected by an evil. We'll see how true that looks when we get over there. 7 is a real baker. God damn it. You're corrupted. You're true. You're true. Dreamer. Plague Doctor. Well, hold up. We know that's corrupted. What by? No clue. You're telling 9 to shut up. 9 is a rambler. 9 is not a rambler. 6 is evil. I'll believe you. Now, we know this is real. This is not a rambler. That is the witch. Now you're telling an evil rambler to shut up. So you're lying, which does not mean evil. Hold up. But this has to be true. No, it doesn't. This can't be evil, though. This cannot be evil, and it's telling the truth. So it's, yeah, it's true, and it can't be evil, or else it would be lying and also not lying. So it can't be lying because its information is true. Let's do this. Rambler or medium. That implies this is corrupted. Or this is corrupted and neither of those roles are present. Yup. And we still have not had a real baker. I will be right back. My phone is ringing. There we go. All right, I'm back. I was kind of thinking of doing another one, but I do see my audience is dying down, and also I kind of have things to do now. So I think that is going to have been the final puzzle. Yeah, there isn't even a baker here. So we just didn't get a baker. We did not get a single real baker that entire stream, which is a little sad. Let's just look at the compendium. Have I seen every character? Villager 1 of 2, Villager 2 of 2. These are all coming soon, so I have seen every villager. I've seen every outcast. And I don't remember killing a werewolf, but I guess I did at some point. Minions. Oh yeah, unlocked cards 100% complete. I didn't even see that. Anyway, that was Demon Bluff. I love this game. I'm probably going to play it quite a lot because it is really fun. But that said, that is going to be... Like the game, please wishlist. Joke's on you, game. I already did. That is going to be the end of the stream, though. This game is really fun. I'm definitely playing more of it at some point. Hopefully they fix those bugs that we found. Oh, no, just one bug. There's only one bug that I found. Let's see. Who do I want to raid? My God, why is everyone playing Twilight Princess today? What the hell? I feel like it's been a while since I did that. Oh, that's a be right back screen. Do I want to raid into a be right back screen again? Maybe not. Hmm. Good. You know what? You've been on the raid list and I've never actually raided you, so maybe I should do that. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let me just wait. I have to wait out the ad break. I also need to go create a folder for my VOD to be compressed into. Let me just go do that real quick. Video compressed VODs. I need to create 2026 of 06 June. It's June, right? I'm not. Okay, it is June. I know how months work. Also, like, happy Pride Month, everyone. That's why I was supposed to be playing Celeste. But, yeah. I haven't met. You know what? Yeah. Okay. Please don't raid out. You have been streaming for a while. Anyway. If you want to keep up with everything else I'm doing, you will want to follow me. I've recently had to abandon Linktree because they're being terrible and feeding stuff into AI now. So all of my information will be on this card page. All of my links are in there. I still need to update the page. At some point, it'll be better. Anyway, stream place and PeerTube folks. Stream will just be ending. Twitch crew, I am sending you all over to Prolo, who we have not raided before. But they're currently playing Twilight Princess, and their streams are usually pretty good. Generally, time zones prevent me from seeing their streams too much. But when I do pop in, it's always a good time. So I hope you enjoy their stream, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.